Yeah. I want to tell us this is another practical example why we said education is not what? It's never a scam. Listen to a professor speaks and you will see reasons why it is most important sometimes that we must get this formal education. When the wise one, the educated wise one, not just the educated one, the educated wise one, when they speak, you will never get tired to listen to what they say. You would listen to the end. And this is a practical example where Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the former vice president of Nigeria, where he gave some instances why we all, or why he joined politics. And we must understand that this word politics, we may say it's a dirty game, but at the same time, we all have a calling. We have a role to play in governance. Because if we don't what? If we don't join this politics and if we don't play this politics, the wicked ones, I mean the wicked ones, will rule over us. And their decision will be binding on everyone. Either you are the good one, you are the pastor, you know. Their decisions will be binding on everyone. And that is why it is very necessary, one, to put the right person in power. And two, all of us must be involved. Otherwise, we will all suffer the decisions taken by the wicked ones and the uneducated ones. You understand? If a country produces more than millions of professors, but they are being led by the foolish ones, the uneducated ones, although we understand the fact that it is not everybody who is educated, you understand, who is wise enough to rule people, who has the heart of helping people in mind. But in the real sense of it, there are still some situations whereby this education tends to play out in politics, you know. It's not you going to meetings with other countries' president and all you just have to say is you agree. You don't have anything to contribute in most time. So how would they rule your country for you? So these are some of the reasons why we need to understand that even in this politics, we must put people who are most qualified. People who can speak, who can take decisions on behalf of their people. And we all need to what? To partake in politics. For example, voting is coming very soon. Very soon. And if you decide, oh, our vote don't count, and other people go there to vote and put their bad leaders, you know, everybody will suffer it. We go to the same school, we go to the same market, we go to the same filling station to buy fuel. If you allow the decisions of the wicked ones to be binding on us, then it is of no meaning that you have good character. So now listen to this video. I will attach to this video and you can see reasons why I said when the educated wise one speaks, you listen to the end. Then listen, my people. If this is the first time you're coming across our page, our channel, kindly give us a subscribe, follow our page and give us a like and share this video. Thank you.
Why did I get involved in politics and government, and why should we get involved? I had about 3 or 4 core reasons. The first is the burden to change things. As a lawyer, I believe strongly that our justice system in Nigeria would be reformed. I and many others are particularly concerned about delays in the trial in civil and criminal cases, making justice too expensive for many litigants and sometimes causing accused persons to spend years awaiting trial. So some of us were concerned about lack of legal representation for the poor, even for their defense in criminal cases. So we organized volunteer lawyers who would go to courts pro bono, free of charge, to defend indigent accused persons. To fight corruption, I co-founded, along with 2 others, Integrity, an anti-corruption organization. We published a pamphlet called Scrutiny, which chronicled cases of official corruption. We held seminars. We wrote policy papers. We proposed reforms. We raised awareness. Yet it became clear to me and to many of us that pressure groups can only go so far. To bring about large-scale change, to deploy human and material resources to solve problems for a country of 200 million people, government must be involved. Only government has the authority, the structure, and the resources to implement reforms at scale. So for me, that opportunity came in 1999 when I was appointed Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Lagos State of Nigeria by the then Governor Bola Tinubu, who is now President of Nigeria. And working closely with the bar, with the bench, we launched several key initiatives. And one of the most impactful was the Citizens' Rights Department within the Ministry of Justice. Under this umbrella, we created something called the Office of the Public Defender. And I want you to follow the trend of this because the Office of the Public Defender provided free legal representation for indigent citizens in both civil and criminal cases. So rather than the few volunteer lawyers that we were able to raise at the time when we were functioning in the pressure groups and the human rights organizations, the Office of the Public Defender, supported by government, hired hundreds of lawyers to fight for the rights of indigent accused persons. But another significant moment for me came in 2014. The All Progressives Congress, which was the opposition party at the time, had just been formed. And three of us, I was of course a member of that opposition party. Three of us, a gentleman called Professor Pat Utomi, Mr. Wale Edu, who is now the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and I were asked to write a social investment program into the APC's manifesto at the time. Of course, I had no idea that I would be vice presidential candidate of our party, but writing the social investment policy helped us to design one of the largest social investment schemes in Africa. It included, again, a homegrown school feeding program. Then also we had the government enterprise and empowerment schemes. We had these things called trader money, farmer money and all that, giving microcredit to the informal traders. By the next year, I was nominated vice presidential candidate and we won. I had the privilege of overseeing those programs from 2016 to 2019. At their peak, we were feeding 9.6 million children daily in public schools. We had farmers, we had cooks, we were hiring over 500,000 graduates and non-graduates and providing microcredit to 2.4 million informal traders. If we had remained outside of partisan politics, the meaningful impacts that we managed to make would never have materialized. But let me leave you with this point. We must not stand aside from politics. In a democratic society, if we seek real structural change that touches the roots of inequality, of poverty, of injustice, and underdevelopment, then we must engage not just as critics but as participants. Yet advocacy and activism are powerful tools. They raise awareness, we apply pressure and shift public opinion. But history shows that the scale and depth of transformation that is required, especially in developing countries, cannot be achieved outside the arena of political power. Some may argue that politics is dirty, should be avoided, but that moral distance itself, however well-intentioned, leaves a vacuum. And vacuums, as you know, especially in politics, will never be empty for long. It will be quickly filled by opportunists, by incompetent people. And so those who have no vision for the good of the country become the leaders. Then we who stepped aside become complicit in the rise of leaders who do not care. If those with competence and integrity shy away, then those without will take their place. And they will rule not just over the apathetic, they will rule not just over those who don't care, but they will rule over all of us. And their decisions will outlast their terms and will outlive our silence. So the context is not just neutrality, it's a betrayal of a generation when we refuse to participate because we think that, well, this might soil us one way or the other. Even if we fail, our participation will light a path. It will offer a new model. It will awaken fresh hope. Our example will plant ideas of courage, of commitment, that others will water and grow. And when that happens, what we represent, even if we couldn't succeed, will endure. Our own efforts will endure. But to refuse to participate is to drop the battle in the relay race of our society's development. We don't all have to run in the same lane, but we must all run. The Greeks had that special word for those who do not participate in politics. They were called idiotes. From that word came idiot. I have no desire to disrespect anyone, but the Greeks were very wise people. Thank you very much.
When the wise speaks, you listen to them. When the wise speak, you listen.